Hi, we're talking about the Brook Farm experiment.
The Brook Farm experiment was a utopian experiment in communal living in the US that began in 1841. It was founded by a former Unitarian minister whose name was George Ripley and his wife Sophia Ripley, about 9 miles outside of downtown Boston. And it was inspired in part by the ideals of transcendentalism, a religious and cultural philosophy that was based in New England. It was founded as a joint stock company along with 10 other initial investors. Ripley sold shares of the company for $500, each with a promise of 5% of the profits to each investor, or free tuition for one student, in exchange for performing an equal share of the work. Shareholders were also allowed a single vote in decision making, and several held director positions. Brook farmers also believed that by sharing the workload, ample time would be available for leisurely activities and intellectual pursuits.
Life on Brook Farm was based on balancing work and relaxation while coming together for the common good of the community. Revenue for the community came from agriculture, selling handmade products, and through fees paid by the many visitors to Brook Farm. The main source of income, however, was the school, which was overseen by Miss Ripley.
The school was at times the only source of income for Brook Farm and attracted students from overseas. Adult education was also available during the evenings. Within the school system, there was an infant school for children under 6, a primary school for children under 10, and a college prep school. Students studied European languages, literature, and fine arts. The primary school was overseen by Sophia Ripley and Mary Ann Ripley, using a progressive child-centered teaching method. Sophia Ripley's dedication to the school was remarked upon by many. She only missed 2 classes in 6 years. A significant implication of Brook Farm was the education reform. The importance placed on education in Brook Farm led to many intellectual advancements.
The community was never financially stable and had difficulty profiting from its agricultural pursuits. By 1844, the Brook farmers adopted a societal model based on socialist concept of Charles Fourier. Brook Farm was fully closed by 1847. Despite the experimental commune's failure, many Brook farmers look back on their experience in a positive light. Nathaniel Hawthorne was a founding member of Brook Farm, though he was not a strong advocate of the community and its ideals. He later fictionalized his experience in 1852 in the novel The Blithedale Romance.
Typical work duties at Brook Farm included chopping wood, bringing in firewood, milking cows, turning a grindstone, and other farming chores. Not all were farmers, however. Some worked in the trades, including making shoes, and others were teachers. Regardless of the job or gender, all were considered equal. In exchange for their work, participants were granted several guarantees, including medical attendance, nursing, education in all departments, and amusements. Despite multiple sources of income, the community was in constant debt almost immediately after it had begun. The community had difficulty with agriculture, in particular because of poor soil and not enough labor. The major crop was hay, though it was sold at low-grade prices. Vegetables, milk, and fruit were not produced in high enough numbers to be profitable. The property was mortgaged 4 times as well, between 1841 and 1845.
The organization of work in Brook Farm changed over time because of both financial troubles and changes in ideologies. Members of Brook Farm initially participated in a system where each individual could pick his or her work assignments based on their preferences. This method proved to be ineffective. After initial leniency, it appeared that not all members were contributing their fair share of labor. So in 1841, the community adopted required standards for work, which were 10 hours of work required per day during the summer and 8 hours during the winter. When Brook Farm first started adopting forest notions, they created a more structured work environment. These new measures caused Brook Farm to turn a profit in 1844 for the first time since the community had formed.
At Brook Farm, women's labor was highly valued. They had tasks that were typical of other women at the time, such as food preparation and shared housekeeping. However, during the harvest time, women were allowed to work in the fields. Because no single religion could impose its release on the community, and the community's focus was on individual liberty, women were seen as separate individuals from their husbands. Women played an important role in providing sources of income to the community and were even allowed to become stockholders. Because of the renowned education of women at Brook Farm, many prominent female figures of the time visited the farm. The Brook Farm experiment had several major impacts on society. The first and foremost, which would be the equal rights women had. Brook Farm was at least one of the 80 community experiments active in the U.S. throughout the 1840s, but it was the first to be secular.